Hello all, welcome to the wonderful session today. So yeah, we are about to move on to a really great session regarding GRE updates. So hope you all had a good evening, and let's move on to the session. So I'll just introduce about what Galvanize Global Education does. So first of all, we provide end-to-end personalized solutions for students and working professionals aspiring to pursue a global degree. So that is, we provide, starting from the test preparation to getting admitted to your dream universities, and through the education financing and the visa processes as well. So for test preparations, we provide personalized test prep for the SAT, GRE, TOEFL, and IELTS. And coming to the admissions counseling, we have experts who lead admissions counseling for bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees. And we also provide value-added services like, educational financing and the visa processes as well. So, and basically, Galvanize is founded and managed by alumni of Stanford, IIT Madras, and IIM Ahmedabad. So yeah, we have also students from 65 plus countries who have chosen Galvanize for their study abroad journey. So you can just see all the countries laid down here. And yeah. And we have also enabled our customers to reach around 1,000 plus universities across 18 plus countries. That's amazing, right? So you can see all the countries we have placed our students. And we have an amazing worldwide user base. So that is, we have 1 million plus users and in among 195 countries. So we also have very good positive feedbacks on Quora, and like they have mentioned many positive things about us, about our admissions counseling, and about how personalized our test prep are. So you can definitely go through that on the net, and we have also pasted the link for that. So yeah, let's move on to the host for the day. So this is Charles Harwood, who is a client relationship management manager from ETS UK. And Charlie works for ETS UK as a clients relation manager, helping to support our universities from UK who accept the GRE and TOEFL test. He has also worked in the higher education sector in, 10 plus years, and has extensive knowledge about, all the admissions process for UK universities. So yeah, let's move on to the session. Over to Charles.
Hi everybody. Thank you for that introduction. I will just share my screen with with my slides. So you just give me a second. So so what I'm going to be covering today is talking about in a bit more detail about the GRE test, kind of giving some insights into what the test is, why you might need or want to take the test, and also talking about we made some fairly significant changes to the GRE test in 2023. So you may have some knowledge of what the GRE test is, but it's good to be updating, good understanding of what the GRE test is and what it looks like now. But first of all, we'll go through, so to cover in a bit more depth, I'll talk a little bit about who ETS are. So you may have heard of GRE, you may have heard of TOEFL, but you might not have heard of ETS. I'll talk about that new shorter test and talk about tools and resources you have to help you prep. And then also can answer any questions that you might have about the test and why you'd want to take it. So first of all, to talk about ETS a little bit, who we are. So ETS stands for Educational Testing Service. We have been around for over 75 years at this point. We are a very well-known name in the testing industry. We're a not-for-profit organization. We're based out of the United States, in Princeton, New Jersey. But we also have offices all over the world. So I'm based in the UK. We have teams in India, China, Korea, Japan, various countries all over the world. So ETS is a very well established, well known name in the testing space. We also make significant investments into education and educational research to advance quality and equity in education. So, as a not-for-profit, we aren't simply about just getting people to take as many tests as possible and make money. We are very much about wanting to help develop and progress education, and that our mission is to help students and to help educational institutions to progress and develop and to make sure that they're doing everything that they can to help students and move students' education forward across the world. So we develop and administer and score 50 million tests annually in 180 countries. So the test you may be most familiar with is TOEFL. TOEFL is our English language test, which is accepted across the world by a huge number of institutions across the world for academic English. But we also administer GRE, which we'll be talking about today, which is an admissions test, and we have a number of other tests as well. But these are delivered across the world, both in test center environments and also at home delivery as well. So to move on to the shorter GRE test. So first of all, I think it's worth understanding what the GRE actually is for, and what is the GRE test for? What is it looking to cover, and what is it looking to tell? What is it looking to show, and what is it looking to actually assess? So the GRE test is used as an admissions test by a number of institutions across the world for a variety of different courses. It's different schools use it differently. Different institutions use it differently. Some specifically use it for business school courses, MBAs particularly. GRE is a popular test. Economic courses, anything like that. There is a large number of institutions that would use the GRE test. GRE is there to assess your abilities in analytical writing, your abilities in quantitative reasoning, your abilities in verbal reasoning. It's there to assess the sort of skills that you're going to need to be successful in either an undergraduate or a postgraduate study, but particularly with a focus leaning towards certain subject areas, particularly those that are maybe numerically involved. So business schools, economics, as I mentioned, those are the kind of areas where the GRE can be particularly useful for universities and for higher education institutions. So why are we making changes to this test? This test has been around for a long, long time. As I say, it's a very popular test. We deliver, hundreds of thousands of sittings of this test all over the world. We had, I believe, around 15,000 students send their GRE scores to UK universities last year. So there's large numbers of students taking this test. So why are we changing the test? So we always are focused on focusing our efforts to make sure that educators and learners are at the center of everything that we do. Now, anybody who may have taken a GRE test before or may have some knowledge of the GRE test will know it was previously a very long test. It was nearly 4 hours long, and test takers were definitely finding that taking a test of that length can be difficult. It can be very challenging, can be very stressful. So what we were looking at is how do we keep the same level of rigor and the same level of quality in the test so that our partner institutions, universities, can be as comfortable as possible with the assessments and feel as confident as possible that that the scores that a student achieves in the GRE reflect their abilities in these areas, while at the same point helping the students to have the best areas, the best experience possible as test takers. We've made similar changes and similar enhancements to our TOEFL test. So that was in July 2023. We launched similar enhancements to our TOEFL test to shorten it down so we know it's possible. We knew it was doable. And we wanted to evolve our GRE test to be similar in how we do it. So what is changing? In the test from September 22nd, 2023, the testing time has been reduced significantly. So it's gone down from half by about half. So it's gone down from nearly 4 hours to just under 2 hours. We've reduced the numbers of questioning and verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning. We've reduced the number of writing tasks from 2 to 1. And our previously unscored section, which was in the test, it has also been removed. Previously, there was a 10-minute break in the test for anyone who's taking it. But again, that was because the test was 4 hours. Now the test is under 2 hours. That break is not necessary unless you have asked for it and then you've been approved for that accommodation. So all of these changes that we've made are thoroughly backed up by research. So we are confident that that we can reduce the number of questions in these sections, but still give you the best chance of getting a good score, and also give our universities and our higher education partners confidence that you've done enough in that section to earn that score and that we can reflect your abilities there. So we'll go into a bit more detail as to what that actually looks like in on another slide in a second in terms of the exact numbers of what that is. Apologies, but what's not changing is that we're still measuring the same skills that we were always measuring before. So we're still measuring the same areas. We're measuring it with that same quality. We're using the same levels of security. The sections of the test will not change. So the sections are the same as they were. There's just fewer questions in each one. Score scales remain the same. So this is really important because when changing a test, if we change the way that the test is scored, it can be confusing for you as students, particularly if maybe you've taken one of these tests previously and then you have to take it again and you take the different version. If the scores are assessed differently, it can be difficult to understand how that works. And also for our university partners, it's really important for them to understand that that the scores the scores haven't changed, so that someone who took the previous test in last year and someone who took the new test this year, they don't have to try and work out who scored what those scores compare to each other, because the scoring system remains the same. And similarly, the score report that you will receive when you take your test will remain the same as well. So again, the score report's really easy to see. You can see your scores in each area, and that score report is unchanged because, as I say, the actual scoring system hasn't changed. Pricing remains the same, and we will keep the same accommodations for test takers who have disabilities or health-related needs. So all those accommodations that were there previously still exist. And actually, one of the real positives of this newer test is that the shorter test is actually is considered more accessible for any students we have who maybe have disabilities or neurodivergent students. These sort of tests can be the shorter test is much more accessible for people with those sort of situations. So what the skills that have been measured, we've already kind of touched on a little bit, but there's a verbal reasoning section. So that's measuring your reading comprehension and your ability to analyze and draw conclusions from discourse. This is really important because these are the kind of tasks that you will be doing in a higher education environment. So the test is specifically designed to be as relevant as possible to what you would be doing if you were a student on an undergraduate or a postgraduate course studying anywhere in the world. You're going to need to be able to show good reading comprehension. You're going to need to be able to analyze passages. You're going to need to be able to look at your readings and understand what you're reading and take inferences and take knowledge from that reading and draw those conclusions to help you study. So this verbal reasoning tests your ability to do that. Quantitative reasoning and problem solving and data analysis and ability to understand information from chart tables, graphs, etc. A really crucial skill, both in terms of higher education, but also in the world of work. Data analysis is a incredibly important, ever-growing sector. And so for you to be able to show that you can analyze data properly, that you can read charts, you can read tables, graphs, and understand what the data that you have in those is telling you is really very helpful for higher education, but also very helpful in the world of work as well. And then analytical writing as well. So critical thinking and analytical writing. How can you articulate complex ideas? Can you support those ideas with relevant reasoning? Can you sustain a well-focused and coherent discussion and control the elements of standard written English? Now, it is important to remember the GRE test is not an English language test. This is not, you can't if you need to take an English language test, you can't substitute GRE for TOEFL. For instance, you would if you were applying for a course that you need to do an English language test and you need to do GRE, you would need to take TOEFL and GRE. It's not an English language test, but we're still going to look at how you write English language and how you write in English, how you articulate your ideas and things like this. Again, really, really key element of what you would be doing in any university course, any higher education study that you were going to be doing, that your ability to articulate ideas, your ability to critically think and analyze writing and then form an argument, write an essay, write a piece is going to be really, really crucial in any sort of study that you do. So it's really important that that's assessed and that you feel comfortable that you have enough knowledge there, and that your potential destination study knows that you have it there as well. So just to go through in a little bit of detail, what are the current what's the actual format of the test now? The current test not current test, sorry, that's the previous test versus the newer, shorter version of the test. So as you can see, the test has been slimmed down significantly by we've taken out one of the essay tasks, which has gone down. So that used to take 60 minutes for 2 essay tasks. It's now 30 minutes. We've reduced from 40 questions to 27 questions in verbal and quantitative reasoning, which reduces the time needed in those sections. And then we've taken out the unscored section and the break, which brings everything down from 3 hours 45 to 1 hour and 58 minutes. So a much more manageable time frame there. The other large benefit to yourselves as students who are taking this test as well is that by reducing the analytical writing tasks from 2 to 1, the turnaround time for results has been reduced significantly as well. So it used to take 10 to 15 days to get your results. We would now expect 7 to 10 days in turnaround for GRE results, because the part that takes the most time that takes the most time to mark, that takes the most time to assess, is those written tasks. So by reducing those, not only are we making the test size more manageable, but we're also ensuring that you can get your results a lot quicker than you were getting them previously. So that I think is a very important point to remember there. So just to kind of touch a little bit on the validity. So as I mentioned earlier, everything that we're doing here is backed up by research. We have to make any changes that we make to our test have to be keeping in mind that it is very, very important that we keep the rigor and the quality of the test high. For you as students, you want to know that your test is assessing you properly. For our higher education partners, they want to understand, they want to feel confident that the test is rigorous enough to give them to be confident in making offers to students who based on these results. So all of these changes happen with research and analysis by our assessment, development, and psychometrics team, who look at balancing out the experience of the test taker while retaining validity and reliability. So that's why we kept the construct and the content the same. So we're shortening the test, but we're not changing the skills that we're assessing, because we think these skills that we assess in the GRE test are all very important skills, and they're all crucial skills for success in higher education. And say content areas in verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning remain the same. Question types remain the same. There's just a few less questions. And with analytical writing, so we had analyze an issue and analyze an argument task, but we found there was a fair amount of overlap between the two. So we've kept it analyze an issue. So in the written task, you'll be given an issue to look at and to analyze, but you won't be having to do the second task, which was analyzing an argument and trying to argue against that. So we're still covering really key points, still covering all the same areas, and we're still very confident that the strength and validity of the test is exactly how it was. And feedback that we've had from our university partners has been very, very positive. So across the world, universities who are accepting the GRE still feel very, very confident in the results that they're getting and the validity of the test. So there's no change in that based on these changes here. And if anything, they're very happy with the fact that the test is more manageable for students and giving you guys the best chance to give your best performance. So we'll talk a little bit about services and resources. So what we have for you as a test taker. So first of all, testing accommodations, that's something that you that you can speak to about with your when you're booking a test. If you have any accommodations that need to be taken into account, we can look at what we can offer in different areas for that. Assistance with test fees, we sometimes have fee reduction programs. Again, these are very low, these are dependent on the local area, so these may vary from country to country. So definitely good to speak to your reps in your local area, speak to your agents and see what there is, if there's anything in your area at that point. There is a variety of test prep material as well. So there's free test prep that you can do online, free practice tests that you can take. There's also price materials that we offer, so test prep that you can pay for, so you can get where you can get more detailed chances to take practice tests, get feedback on your essays, things like that via that. And again, these are all available online and also in hard copies as well. In terms of also supporting you in your journey to find a university or find a course, we have the GRE search service and the GRE school match tool. So search service is something, if you take the test, you will be asked if you'd like to put your name onto our search service database. That database it can be searched by universities who are looking for students for specific courses. So you can say what kind of course you're looking at, what kind of where you'd like to study in the world. So if you're looking specifically to study in the UK, you can say that. If you're looking specifically to study in the US, you can say that. And then the search service tool will then allow universities to search for people who meet your criteria, see your scores, and then they can approach you directly to talk about courses that they might be offering. Grad School Match is another tool that we offer where you again you can say what you're looking for, and that can help match you to potential schools who might be looking at you as well. And then also feedback on test performance. So we have the GRE diagnostic service, which allows you to get feedback on your tests and understand your in detail any issues that were there. So just to go through a little bit here, here's some free prep that you can find on our website. So ets.org/GRE/prepare. So there is a variety here that you can see of pre-test preparation that you can have. So a deep look at the GRE general test, which are free monthly virtual prep sessions where our assessment team reviews question types and test taking strategies and answers your questions live. There's section overviews for each measure. There's video presentations, which help you prepare for verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and analytical writing. There's the Power Prep test preview tool, which reviews question types, features, and help tools. You get 2 timed practice tests that you can do for free that simulate the actual test and provide scores on the verbal and quantitative reasoning measures. And then there's also things to help you with your math. So there's the math review, and then there's math conventions as well. So they're really useful things for refreshing. If maybe you've not been studying mathematics or a mathematical subject for an extended period of time, really good way of for free refreshing your knowledge and helping you in that area. So it's around. All of these are free. These are all things that you can find for free on our website. So there is an awful lot of support for you to find out about more about how to prepare yourself best for the test. And then you have here as well Power Prep Plus, the GRE practice books, online writing practice, which is called Score It Now, and official GRE Mentor, which is a test prep course. So these are all ones that cost you pay for these, but they're all reasonably priced. So there's a number of support things here where you can which can help you through it. Particularly, I think Score It Now, the online writing practice part, is really interesting. It gives you the ability to do written tests and get feedback on your essays via our AI marking. system, so you're able to actually get AI assisted feedback on what it is you're writing to give you a sense of how you would of how you're doing in those written tests, in those written sections. So again, definitely worthwhile having a look at the GRE website. More in-depth explanations about the test, policy information, details on locations, test dates, where you can find them, who do you want to, where are you looking to take the test? Are you looking to do it at home? Are you looking to do it in the test centres? They're all different, all tests that you can find it, all information that you can find via ets.org/GRE. And then more information can be found in all of these sort of areas here. So, so for you, if you want to find out more about anything about the test, there's all these details here around the changes that we've made to the test. So that's an overview of the shorter GRE. So what I wanted to do now is just hand over and give a chance for questions to be asked and any sort of any insights that anything else that people, Shruti, if there's anything else you want me to cover. To talk about, and yeah, look forward to hearing your questions.
Sure. So yeah, let's wait for the questions if the student.
Hey Charles, this is Sahil here from Galvanize. Thanks for the wonderful session. So before we head on to the Q&A session, we need to share a couple of things about Galvanize to our students. So just give me a few minutes. I'll just share something about Galvanize, and then you can take over for the Q&A part. So I'll be sharing my screen. So what does Galvanize do? So Galvanize helps students with an end-to-end process, right from your test prep to your admission counseling and pre-departure services. So just give me a minute. Yeah. So Galvanize brand was built by popular product services. Like we have our GRE app where you can prepare for your GRE. We have a vocabulary app where you can prepare for your TOEFL and other things. We have both paid and unpaid services. Our paid services included our test prep courses where you can buy any of our course and get a personalized solution for it. We also help for undergrad admissions, master's admissions, doctorate admissions, and MBA admissions, with over 99% of people getting the best admit if you follow our study material. What are the perks and advantages of our test prep courses? It includes a personalized study plan. You can ask unlimited questions to our experts. It includes in-depth analytics and feedback, a personalized AWA essay scoring, unlimited practice questions, like you have thousands plus practice questions, full length mock test where you can prepare well before you take the actual GRE test. What are the benefits of our courses? Like we have the unpaid, updated test pattern. The prices are affordable. It is a complete solution. You can know where you stand, and it's easy way of learning. Like you will have the access to the portal for 24/7, and you have the best guidance possible. Next thing, complete end-to-end solution for your admission counseling. So once you enroll with Galvanize, there will be a personalized profile evaluation call based on your profile, we will be shortlisting universities into 3 categories, which is ambitious, practical, and safe. Then comes the documentation process, will help you draft resume, SOP, LOR. Everything is based on your input. So each student needs a different SOP, LOR, and resume. So we'll get your inputs first, then we will prepare the best resume, SOP, and LOR. Next comes the visa guidance. We'll help you with a mock interview, university finalization, documents list for your visa. Then comes the financing part. We have tied up with various banks and NBFCs where we'll help you with the loan process. And last but not the least, the pre-departure services, which includes bank account, guidance on food, medicines, insurance, travel tickets, forex, etc., and many more things. So why you wait for, get your profile evaluated today and understand where you stand basically. The link has been displayed on your screen. It's gxprep.com/profile. Jump into there, submit your profile, and get the best university shortlist today from us. It's generally a paid service, but since you are attending a session today with Galvanize, we are giving it for a free. So yeah, that's it from our side. Now it's time for Q&A. Guys, if you have any questions, please post it on the chat box and our expert, Charlie, will take it. Guys, please post your questions if you have any.
So I can see I've had a couple of questions that have come through in direct messages from a couple of people here. So I will look to answer those. So I've had one question that says, is there a particular priority in which the GRE, TOEFL and related exams should be taken? No, there's not a specific priority order. Universities who look for GRE, though, are often looking for you to have taken the test before they will make you an offer. And that includes a conditional offer. Whereas if you have yet to take an English language exam, they are maybe more willing to make you a conditional offer on that basis, and that they can, at that point, they at that point can then let you go away and take your TOEFL exam. So generally, if GRE is a requirement, it's something that you want to take before your application. TOEFL, I would always recommend. I would always recommend try to take your test as early as possible. GRE scores are valid for 5 years. TOEFL tests are valid for 2 years. So so in terms of taking those tests, you want to take them early so you've got them and you're equipped and you know what where you've met the entry requirements for. But I would say if you're looking at one that needs GRE and you need to do English language, you're probably best to look at doing GRE first, because you can get a conditional offer there. So that is definitely something that is worth thinking about there. But there isn't one where you have to take one before the other. But that is one way of looking at it. So there's another question about diagnostics, about GRE diagnostic after the test in the quant section, struggling with data analysis questions. Can we share any tips for acing data analysis questions? It's a very boring tip to say, but I would just say practice as much as possible. Data analysis is a tough skill. Mathematics is tough. Analyzing data is not the easiest thing to do. So I would stress, there's no sort of shortcut around that. It's you just want to make sure that you practice, and then make sure if you know that there is an area that you're struggling on, then focus specifically on that area more in your practice and dedicate as much time to that as possible. But really setting that time aside, and then also if you happen to, it's worth practicing with a friend or with someone. If you know somebody who's strong in that area, work with them and see if they can help you with their knowledge as well. There's been a question about GRE use for scholarships. So GRE is used by some universities to assess for scholarships. That's done on a university by university basis. We don't at the moment offer any scholarships specifically based on GRE test scores, but a lot of universities who offer scholarships will take test scores into account. Scholarships are really, really highly, are really, really tough to get. They're hard fought for. There's a lot of competition for them. So even if you're looking at maybe applying for a course, so there are some courses in the UK, for instance, where they will say you don't need to take a GRE, but they will consider it in your application and it can strengthen your application. If you're aiming to get a scholarship, then again, taking the GRE can help strengthen that case for a scholarship. It can help you stand out. It can help you say, look, I am particularly strong in these areas. And it can help build an understanding of why that university wants you on their course, and therefore why they should give you that scholarship to help you make sure that you're able to do that course. So GRE can definitely help when looking at scholarships as well. I have another question around what kind of analytical writing questions will there be in an exam? Could you please share the level of difficulty? So they are all pitched at the level of higher education level. So these are, they're not going to be easy questions, because we need, the whole point of this test is to assess your ability to study at a high level. So obviously we need to make them, reasonably difficult. In terms of what type of question there'll be, so there's now only one type of question in the analytical writing, which is analysing an issue. So what you would do is you would be given a passage, or you'd be given some reading or an issue to look at, and you would then need to analyse that, and then basically write a report or something along those lines within the test around how do you talk about that issue? How do you analyze that issue? It could be, what are your thoughts on this issue, but the idea is that for you to summarize that issue back, analyze it, and come back with your thoughts on it and your argument on that issue. So you're going to be going in there and analyzing that issue. So previously you used to have analyzing an issue and analyzing an argument, which was slightly different, where you would be given the argument for a particular point, and then you'd have to analyze and maybe kind of argue against that point. You don't have to do that anymore. It is much more a case of, here's the issue, analyze it, summarize it, give us your view on it.
Okay, Charles, I guess there are no more questions.
Yeah, I don't have any more questions in the chat box, unless there's any that anyone else has seen anywhere.
So yeah, let's wrap up the session then. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
Great. Thanks, Charles. Thanks for presenting the session for Galvanize. We're really happy to have you. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining this call. Please visit our YouTube channel to watch the recording again. If you have any questions, we have the video available on the YouTube as well. Thank you so much, Charles. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.